The 1st of August 2008 was an unforgettable day for climbers all around the world, as it marked the deadliest year to date in the history of mountain climbing. Even though K2 Summit is smaller when compared to the mighty Everest, the K2 is known as the Killer Summit. Climbers from different parts of the world climbed K2 in the year 2008, but not all of them made it alive. What happened on the unfortunate day of August 1st, 2008? Before we unravel the horrendous tragedy, smash that subscribe button and press the bell icon to never miss a single video from Mountaineers. The most beautiful yet deadly K2 summit is located in northern Pakistan, at the center of the Karakoram Mountain Range. As it's located on the farther north side, the weather changes within seconds. K2 summit challenges the climber, and it's quite difficult to claim the peak of the mountain. Unlike Mount Everest, not many try to climb the K2 summit. Many have lost their lives in K2, as no one can predict how dangerous the risky path to the summit is. In June 2008, more than 200 climbers came to the base camp of the K2 summit with the desire of conquering it. They were all from different parts of the world. Some were from Serbia, whereas others were from Norway and the Netherlands. There were even people from the United States of America. Several weeks passed as the climbers got adjusted to the climate and they settled down in their camps. The climbers were affected by snowstorms, which delayed their climb to another 3 weeks. After a month of waiting, on August 1st, 2008, 25 climbers reached Camp 4. Of the 200 climbers who started this journey, only 22 could survive and make it to Camp 4. The rest of them couldn't complete the climb and descend from the expedition. Van Ruijen shares his experience of climbing the K2 summit, and he mentioned how the expedition leaders came together to discuss whether they're going to climb the mountain as a team. The last part of the K2 summit is the scariest out of all, and you need to be prepared for what it holds for you. At their group meeting, the expedition leaders made some important decisions. They decided that on July 31st, 2008, they would start the climb to reach the peak of the mountain. Even though they decided to climb the K2 summit together, there were differences between them as they all belonged to different expedition groups with their Sherpas. They lacked an understanding among themselves. It might have been due to the lack of communication and proper planning. The team of 25 climbers were led by 9 leaders from different expedition groups. They needed to make sure that the rope was intact and safe to climb. As they reached one of the deadliest places in K2, the bottleneck, they ran out of rope. This shows how poorly planned they were. Bottleneck is a narrow place which lays a trap for the climbers with steep gullies. With one wrong step, blocks of ice would fall on top of you. As there was no more rope for them to cover the region of the bottleneck, they had to collect the previously laid down rope. This was a crucial stage as they couldn't afford to make a mistake. They had to walk as if they were stepping on the ice. Unfortunately, many started dying on their way. A Serbian climber named Mandik slipped and fell to death. Jehan Beg, a Pakistani porter, tried to move the lifeless body of the Serbian climber out, but during that attempt, he ran out of oxygen and died. The rest of the climbers continued their journey and made it to the peak of K2. They celebrated their victory and started climbing down the mountain as soon as they could. By the time the last climbers, Marco Confortola and Jer McDonald, were on their way to Camp 4, it was 7:30 p.m. Are you enjoying the video so far? Now is the right time to press the like button. They were all climbing down the bottleneck region when an unfortunate death took place. Rolf Bay, a Norwegian climber, lost his foot and died as a sharp blade-like ice fell onto him in front of his wife. As darkness surrounded the K2 summit, the climbers were unable to see what was ahead of them. A group of Korean climbers got entangled in unattended ropes as they were trying to climb down. They were unable to move and had no option but to wait for rescue. Little did they know, they were waiting in the death zone. Casa van de Gevel and Hughes da Berede lost their lives in an attempt to climb down the bottleneck without ropes. Climbers who reached Camp 4 safely ordered Suring and Pasang boats to go back to the death zone and bring down the Korean climbers. These 2 Sherpas had no choice but to abide by their order. As they reached the death zone, they were faced with an avalanche and huge ice blocks falling on them. Many lost lives in the disastrous climb. The rest of the climbers had to be rescued in a helicopter. Only 11 men made it out alive. Do you still want to climb K2? Or are you taking it off your bucket list? Let us know in the comment section.